Well, hey there, this is Jerry with What's Broke today, and still with my 2003 Silverado 1500 that got brakes bleeding on it right now. But while I was waiting for the gravity bleeding to go because it's kind of slow, um, one of his other complaints was the truck was overheating. Well, of course, all I could do with it sitting here, since I had such a bad brake pedal, um, I just let it run and warm up. And what I noticed was, as the engine warmed up, the upper radiator hose was warming up as quick as the heater hoses were on the other side. And what that's telling me is that, before the truck hits operating temperature, it's already trying to circulate coolant through the radiator, which means our thermostat must be malfunctioning. So I'm going to assume when I pull the thermostat out of there, it's going to be stuck partially open. And I almost bet that it's stuck. And when it does warm up, it needs to open all the way. It's probably not opening completely. And so if it doesn't open completely, it doesn't circulate enough coolant through the radiator. And then, of course, then it overheats. So we're going to go with that. I didn't find any leaks or any signs of leaks. So I'm sure that all I'm going to be chasing is a thermostat. But let me get a couple tools and let's yank that thermostat out. Now, before I pull the thermostat out, I took a piece of 3/8-inch fuel line, put on the radiator, opened the drain, and set my pan under there. And it did leak out a little bit around the valve, but most of it ran down the hose and into my drain pan. So I ended up not making a huge mess like I usually do. Now, I probably will when I pull the thermostat out, but I'm just going to slide the pan over underneath where the thermostat's at, and when I get ready to pull that apart. Okay, I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see, but for now, I got to get this out of the way. So where the upper radiator hose goes into that with the little burr clip, I'm going to pop that out, get that out of the way. Now I'm going to come over here to the throttle body and unscrew that clamp. And then I can come over here by the mass air meter and loosen up that one. And then kind of set things out of the way, and then kind of pop that and get it broke free. Okay, I have plenty of room with that. Let's go ahead and pull this off the throttle body, or attempt to. There we go. And get off the mass air meter. There's that, and then to get that loose, I can just pull that up. But just got to watch because that this rubber boot here was hanging me up because it's stuck to the throttle body, and I was pulling the pipe out of the rubber piece. And which the nice thing about this is, once you get that out of the way, this space is wide open. So I can just take my pliers, come down here, get on the radiator hose clamp, squeeze it, or attempt to. Put my glasses on so I can see better, because these clamps have a little ear on them so you can actually lock them. in the released position and slide them back. And then I can take my pliers and try and grab the hose and twist it. And if that don't work, I can take my screwdriver down here and attempt to pry, which sounds easy, but it's not. Yeah. I may need to just wait till I get that water neck off there, because see, the water neck is just held on, I think, with 2 or 3 screws. 1, 2, yeah, 3, or no, just 2 10mm headed screws. So now I can get my ratchet, come in here and loosen up the top one. Loosen up the bottom one and top one a little bit. And the bad part is my where I put my jack stand means that I'm not over my drain pan. So I think I'll take a small break. I'm gonna get my floor jack. Um, I'm gonna move my jack stand just so I don't have to. I don't want to make a big mess on the driveway with me having the cats and the dogs around here. Okay, I got the jack stand moved back, and then my drain pan moved to where water was dripping underneath. I was gonna pull that out. Let's see, make sure I'm still hitting the drain pan. Most of it. Okay, well, I'm just going to let that set and drip, because I could yank it off and just go gushing everywhere. But like I said, I don't want to make a huge mess. Okay, now that it's down to just little drips, I'll come in here and back the other bolt out. If I can reach down here and grab it so I don't drop it. There's both bolts, and they are the same. Let's pull that out. Pull that upwards. Let's see if I can. Screwdriver in there and work it around. Okay, that rope free. Now we can pull this out of there, and all right. And there we go. That rubber gasket popped out. I must pull this back up here, because yeah, I can see with this popped out, I'm offset right down in here. Get this out of the way. Yeah, so that's offset. So when that thermostat goes to open, it hits that brass piece. So if it happens to pop and line up, it would go up in the hole, but otherwise, the thermostat's only gonna, I mean, I doubt that moves a 1/16 of an inch the way it is, with that being offset and hitting in there. And I don't know if there's any good way to take a picture of that. But the solution to our problem is just a whole new thermostat and housing assembly. I get the O-ring stuck in it. And the nice thing has what they call a jiggle valve. And it looks like this replacement does not have that rubber gasket to go bad. So that's actually a good thing. And also, yeah, so yeah, that should be good, because that means we don't have that rubber gasket. Then this can't go back. We can't have the same failure again if we don't have the part that failed. I'm just going to very carefully push that up in there, making sure that O-ring doesn't fall out. Start my bolt. Of course, start these by hand. Don't run down there with your power tool and force them, because if you cross thread them and mess that up, it's a royal pain to fix it later. Okay. And also try not to drop your socket either. Oh. As you get older, you don't bend as well. Okay. And once I get it started, then I can very carefully reach down there with my gun and of course, I'm not going to force those tight with my gun. I want to get them close and then tighten them up by hand. Okay. Once I get that like that, then I'll take my flashlight. Because if you got the O-ring in the gap, that thing will be up completely flush. And we can take our pliers, slide our clamp up, and then see if we can get that unhooked without hurting ourselves. I just got a few tools out of my way so I wouldn't have to deal with them while I was dealing with this. I'm just going to squeeze that a little and try and get my screwdriver in there. The biggest thing about this, you pop it, and get your fingers, it hurts. There we go. Now that I got that unclipped, and actually there's a tool for that. I just don't have one because is designed for at the factory. So when they stick these hoses on, they just reach out with that tool and snap it and pop it, and it locks into place. So I get that done. I grab my intake tube, get it repositioned in here. Get it on the throttle body all the way. Get up there. Get my hose thing, get it back in its hole. Okay. Okay. All right, now we got that tight. All I got left to do is put coolant back in it and then test it. Well, I got the thermostat replacement all done. Everything turned out great. That took in refilled it with coolant. Nice thing about these trucks, probably about one of the easiest cooling systems to refill. The way it's designed, it purges the heater core real quick. The thermostat has the little jiggle valve on it to let air out. So as you fill it in the bottle, it comes up and hose, bleeds the radiator back to the bottle. That after I run it and warmed it up the first time, just sitting here, and of course I do that watching the gauge inside, monitoring the level in the bottle, and which typically, sometimes you got to add a little more while you're warming it up the first time, but I usually put it just a little above the full hot line on the bottle, and then sit in the truck, watch the temperature gauge, and I'll run the engine at about 2,000 RPMs, maybe a little less. Make sure I get everything circulating, and then once I feel good warmth in the upper radiator hose, and the gauge starts coming up, I'll take and shut the truck off and let it set and cool off. Recheck the bottle, and then go for a drive and just monitor the temperature gauge while I'm driving down the road, just to make sure we don't start overheating. Of course, get it clear up to temperature, because the gauge on most of these, when you're driving down the road, reads 210 degrees on the gauge, basically pointing straight up. I don't know that it's really that warm, because if I take my infrared thermometer and shoot the radiator itself, I'm only about 197, so, or it was on this truck. So I don't know. Gauge could be off a little, because you figure the truck's 21 years old. But yeah, I'll say I don't have no leaks, no overheating. I did do a second test drive just to make sure everything was operating good. That I think the only thing left is he does need a battery, because that one is on its way out. I think it's set discharge so long that it won't hold a charge now, that I just put my jump box on it and the truck will fire right up. But I mean, it starts with that battery, but it's like it works hard, that roar, roar, and then eventually it'll whoom and go. But I put my jump box on it, it fires right up. So we'll call that good. That I do appreciate you watching. That we always like those thumbs up for the likes. Appreciate all those comments. And hey, if you're not a subscriber, better join on in, because I'll tell you what else you'll see on What's Broke Today. Thank you.